Good morning from the summit of Castle Peak, right outside of Aspen, Colorado. I know this is not the usual start that you're used to when you watch these hike videos, but I started very early today, about 1 a.m. because the weather is going to be iffy. It's summertime, and sorry, just making sure you can hear me, and just making sure that I avoid the weather as much as possible. Hopefully you can see this beautiful sunrise behind me. Off with the final descent to the summit, which is the ridgeline here, and you can faintly make out the trail right down there, and it goes down into that gully. So one of the biggest mistakes people will make is they might miss that trail and head right up some of this steep stuff here. So just be on the lookout and just kind of keep left in the back of your head. You want to bear left to hit the initial trail, and then once you're up higher on the ridgeline, you want to bear left as well, because as you can see, the right is pretty eaten out. The hike started out with a four-wheel drive road, and I will have much more kind of information about that in the link below. So again, for a full hike review of Castle Peak and Conundrum Peak, two for today, you can check the link below. So after I just rest up a little bit here, my next step will be to head over here to Conundrum, and that's the second 14er, even though it's not an official one of this loop. So I'm gonna head down here, kind of head up that ridgeline, and then there's the snow in the middle, and then that second peak is the true summit. On the way down, I'll show you the way to do that, but basically instead of coming back up to Castle, I'm going to cut down this couloir here and probably glissade most of that. For those of you who don't know, glissading is basically just sliding on your butt. Most of the time you use your ice axe as some kind of an anchor, but it's a very common way to descend in the spring. So yeah, this is number, oh my gosh, 14er number 28 for me. And if I get to Conundrum over there, that'll be 29, which will make me officially halfway done with my 14ers, which is pretty cool stuff. But yeah, so I'll be checking in soon here from Conundrum, and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful sunrise. Right now I'm about halfway between Conundrum and Castle, right on the saddle. So behind me is the way I came down from Castle, and then in front of me here is the way up to Conundrum, which is again that peak right there, not this flat thing. One thing to point out I thought was pretty interesting is the glissade is right here that you go down after you go up Conundrum. It's basically this, you can see it pretty well, kind of traveled, but yeah, it's pretty steep, so I would just kind of be prepared for that. I don't know how mentally maybe you just kind of prepare yourself. Definitely ice axe I think would be pretty good to have, but yeah, I mean, I just was kind of surprised when I saw that, because I kept reading online, oh yeah, glissade down, blah blah blah, but yeah, it's just pretty steep. So apologize for the heavy breathing, but just making my way up the summit of Conundrum Peak, final ridge. I just bring you guys along with me here. Whew, that was a fun little scramble. This is the unofficial summit of 14er Conundrum Peak. Give it a whirl here. So that way you can see Capitol, Maroon Bells, Aspen Snowmass is over there. And then of course, back down where we came from, that is Castle. So I guess I'll just show you real quick the way up. So you come up through this valley here, and then you just want to make sure you stay kind of left instead of going to that middle. So stay left, and then you'll see the trail right there, which goes all the way up the ridgeline to Castle. So once you're on the trail, it's pretty easy. I would just hate for people to, walk too far and head to that lake. It would suck having to either go up that, which is borderline impossible with this conditions, or backtrack to the real trail. So this is 14er number 29, which means I'm halfway done. I'll be the first to admit I'm probably a little bit more conservative than some, especially in mountain situations where you're by yourself. So this is the descent down. Right now it's, I don't know, mid-July basically. Just be careful with these glissades. You can really fly down them. I mean, I see these pass all the way at the top to the bottom, and yeah, if you know what you're doing, it can go fine. But this is definitely a lot tougher than I thought, this section here. So especially with dogs, I have no idea how a dog would get down this whatsoever. But yeah, so just wanted to point that out. Okay, down from Castle and Conundrum. So behind me is the basin you have to go up to basically hit the ridgeline to get to both peaks. The one surprising thing about this hike, as I kind of mentioned before, is that I don't know if it's a color or just kind of the way to get down from the Conundrum ridge. It's very steep. I mean, I felt pretty uncomfortable on it, and I have a decent amount of experience in snow, especially with my mountain axe and glissading and all that. But it was just really steep, and I don't know, it just kind of caught me off guard. So, but yeah, this was a really good hike. There was kind of mixed good and bad. I really loved the ridge lines of both Castle and Conundrum. The views obviously were very good. What I didn't like so much was what you see behind me here, and that was the mining road that you had to walk up to get to where I am right now. It's just very monotonous. I didn't like the trail conditions. I mean, you can even see here, basically it's snow right now, but I mean, I can't even imagine this when there's no snow. It's just got to be really crappy, loose rock. So this is definitely a hike I'd recommend in the early spring. I don't think I would bring dogs unless you're just planning on doing Castle and then going to go down the ridgeline. That descent was just really crappy. I just wouldn't feel comfortable bringing Juno on it, at least for me. But yeah, this was number, 28 and 29 for me. And for a full hike review of Castle Peak and Conundrum Peak, you can check the link below. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe not to miss any future videos.